A very good evening to you and a warm welcome to tonight's edition of Breeding to Win. Well, the Equus Awards are around the corner. They will take place on Tuesday night. And of course, it will be at Emperors Palace once again. But you can catch all the action on Teletrack and teletrack.com. And of course, it will be going out live. So make sure you are tuned in to either Teletrack or teletrack.com to catch all the action from Emperors Palace for the Equus Awards. Well, without any further ado, let's take a look at what you can look forward to on tonight's show. Fiona catches up with the team at Drakenstein. We feature What a Winter. My studio guest tonight is Gavin Lorena. Andrew Bond goes to Cornerstone Stud to speak to Anton Hook. And last but not least, I go to Heversham Farm Stallion Day that took place in Walkerville last Sunday.
Incroyable ici, la police qui va enlever l'Arc de Triomphe, 5e victoire dans la course pour Frankie Ettori.
It's storming home, one of the last possible gasps for the judge and Thriller.
What a finish to the Melbourne Cup. Brave is under pressure when they turn in. It's been a relentless run, Cup. Who's going to be the last man standing?
Pressing on through, then Wings of Eagles with the mower, Wings of Eagles swooping though, and Wings of Eagles gets up to win.
His 3,000th winner.
Vodacom Durban July.
Gauteng Sansui Summer Cup.
Five-time Grade 1 winner Duke of Marmalade had his first South African crop of runners this past season and already is making his mark on our local shores. Fiona Ramsden visits him at his home Drakenstein Stud and tells us more about the Duke.
It's always lovely to be here at Drakenstein Stud, and although it's a cloudy morning, the farm is looking absolutely magnificent. I have the pleasure of catching up with Kevin Somerville and Ross Fuller this morning and seeing Duke of Marmalade, who of course arrived here some 5 years ago. He's looking absolutely magnificent, and we're going to be seeing his story once again a bit later on the show. Well, Drakenstein have had an absolute phenomenal year, not only breeding but racing as well, and it's lovely to catch up with Kevin Somerville at Drakenstein this morning. Kevin, lovely to have you on the show, and thank you very much for having us here this morning.
No, thanks, Fee. Yeah, exciting for you guys to be here.
As I said, it's been an absolute phenomenal year for you. I mean, it all started out in January with those wonderful fillies, Oh Susanna and Snowdance, of course, winning all those big races. What a thrill for Gaynor and the whole team.
No, absolutely. You know, Fee, it's what we all in racing work very hard to get. It's you know, ultimately we are breeders, but and you know that's the way we want to be, sort of, you know, what we're aiming to be. But owning some nice fillies has always been part of the profile, and we've had a great year, and we've worked very hard to get here. Susanna winning the Met, and obviously winning on the Lomra Queen's Plate Day, winning the Paddock Stakes were, you know, some great thrills. And I think all in all, I think we've bred, you know, 9 stakes winners this year overall. One of the other big thrills was Singapore Sling, you know, a son of a philanthropist winning in Hong Kong. Yeah, you know, just breeding, trying to breed some really nice, you know, top horses, and a horse like Chimichurri Run winning at the end of the season for Trippy was really great. So it's been a good year, and you know, we hope for it to continue for the next year as well.
Well, moving on to the stallions, you've got 6 superb stallions standing here, and with us here is Duke of Marmalade. And of course, he hit the headlines recently, having his first graded success.
Yeah, we've always been very excited about the Duke. You know, he was. You know, it's the type of bloodlines that really suit South Africa. You know, I don't think anybody can really tell you why the Lassie Deer family works well in South Africa, but we know it does, and Duke is probably the best exponent of it, you know, being a 5-time Group 1 winner himself. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, Temple Grafton winning, you know, on the last day of the season, and Glenn Cotson speaks so highly of her. He always has right from the day one, and I think he speaks quite highly about some of the other Dukes that he's got. But she was really unique in many ways, because she's actually the Duke of Marmalade's first graded 2-year-old winner that he's ever had in any country. So for us, that's very encouraging, because what it shows is that the stock, you know, that he gets is you know, suited to a country. And I think you know, a horse like him, you know, it's important that you get that. You know, certain stallions are successful in certain places, and you know, nobody really can put their finger on why it is. But this fellow over here, the Duke, he seems to be you know, really doing it in South Africa, and we've had 6 2-year-old winners. You know, he's not a sire that is known for 2-year-old winners, you know, around the world. But for him to get a graded win in his first crop in South Africa, I think can only lead from strength to strength. And
is he well supported for the rest of the year with mares, etc.?
Yeah, you know, we've done. I have to say, I've got to, you know, thank the shareholders a lot. Shareholders have been big supporters over the last 4 years with him, especially in his second crop, when you know, those ones will be going into training now. You know, he had those 4 Group 1 winners over in the UK and in Germany, and was very, very successful there, and so covered a, you know, outstanding book of mares in his second crop. And you know, we've got some 2-year-olds across the valley over there that are going to be going into training, and I can say that, you know, whatever he's doing now, it's only going to get better. We're very, very you know, very, very happy with the stock that we get. And you know, I just popped into Ross's office quickly and said to him, you know, what are we going to say about this horse? You know, just pinpoint some really, you know, pertinent things. And he said the stock are just high quality and full of substance, and you know, everything that you want.
Well, he's superbly put together himself. He's a really classy-looking stallion.
Yes, yeah. No, he's a big, you know, he's quite unique in many ways, because I think he's a very powerful horse, great muscle, and but he's a horse that also stayed, you know, a good classic distance. So I think he's capable of siring anything, to be honest. And I think he's sort of proved that already in South Africa with, you know, Temple Grafton being a graded 2-year-old winner, and Mufid being a sprinter. And you know, he's got horses like Big Orange and Star of Seville and Simple Verse in Europe that are more than 1.5 mile type horses. So, and I think that's kind of the secret, in many ways, to the Lassie Deer family, is that she obviously, you know, she obviously put a lot of substance into the stock, into the family. AP Indy was also one of those horses that could get sprinters and get 10 furlong horses. So, you know, we see the same in the Duke, and yeah, very excited by what we've got and what we're seeing so far. And you know, Santa Clara is a little filly that we bought at the yearling sales from Main Chance, and you know, she's gone and she's placed in 2 listed races as a 2-year-old, and she's only going to go from strength to strength. So we're quite excited by the Duke so far.
Yeah, absolutely. He does look absolutely magnificent, and of course we're going to get to see him at the end of the month at your stallion parade along with the others.
Yeah, we'll do. Obviously, it's a regular thing that we do now, and it's meant to be a lot of, you know, a lot of fun, but also a big thanks to all the supports that the breeders provide for us. And yeah, we'll be showing off some you know, some of the old boys here on the farm, Trippy and stallions like that. And then, you know, obviously I'm wearing a cap and we'll be showing off Gold Standard, who we're very excited about standing as well. You know, a horse that's as good looking horse as anywhere out there. I think you'll find it very hard to find a better looking horse than him. With a good race record, you know, he ran the Selangor very easily. He ran second in the Guineas. You know, I think the form is all there for him to reproduce it. And then obviously he comes from a wonderful female line, one of the best in the South African stud book. So we're very excited by him, but obviously, you know, excited by all the stallions that we have here. You know, What a Winter is chalking up graded winners year on year now. Philanthropist seems to be firing with plenty of winners. I don't, you know, took maybe the trainers a little bit of time to figure them out, but they're certainly firing at the moment. And obviously you've got Futura, who's got his first crop of yearlings going to the sales next year, so very excited about that. I think buyers should be excited by that as well. I mean, he was an absolute champion. There are very few horses that have ever done what he's done, you know, win the Queen's Plate and the Met. And then obviously there's the King, that's Trippy, that's here, and he continued to do wonders for us. And you know, so we've very happy with our with the stallion band, and you know, hopefully we can increase it and make it stronger and better as the years go by.
Yeah, you must be very proud to have such a lovely bunch of stallions, and I'm really looking forward to the Stallion Day, because there's nothing better than seeing them showing off and looking so fantastic. Now, there's never a dull moment at Drakenstein, because I've seen as we're coming up the drive, I see you've had your first foal already.
Yeah, this is the, as Ross says, it's like opening you know, a birthday present every time a foal's born. You don't know what you're going to get, and that's exciting. It makes it fun. And we've had the first foals for Little Philanthropist filly out of a sister to sale, so that made sense to redo the mating. And then you know, one of our best mares, a mare called Aquatant, had a little Duke of Marmalade. Not little, it's actually a very imposing Duke of Marmalade colt. So yeah, it's exciting. You know, breeding seasons are fun, and you know, we get to as Ross says, open these little presents that are wonderful. Absolutely fantastic and exciting times ahead. Well, thank you very much for taking your time this morning, and we look forward to seeing you again for your Stallion Parade on the 31st of August. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
It's great to be catching up with all the team here at Drakenstein this morning, and with me now is Ross Fuller. Ross, it's lovely to see you this morning. A little bit windy, but it's lovely to be here.
No, Faith, thanks for coming out, and good to see you all.
Now we're going to chat to you about the 7 that you're sending to the 2-year-old sale, which is next week in Joburg.
Yeah, we got 7 going. We got basically 4 of our own Drakenstein stud, and then 3 agents. We've got a colt by Nathaniel, who's out of the Dancer's Daughter family. A nice, neat colt. Then 2 other Philanthropists, 2 other Duke of Marmalades, a What a Winter, and a Savannah.
Well, you couldn't get better than that. What a lovely bunch. And of course, we've been hearing lots about Philanthropist's success and the Duke's success, of course, with his first graded winner. So a really exciting bunch to be taking.
Very nice. And I have to say, with the Dukes, we are extremely happy with what we've got. And I mean, the Philanthropist, we can't complain. Obviously, he's still got to do a bit more on the track and all, as everyone knows, but they're good-looking horses, good sound, so come along and see them.
And I was just saying to Kevin, there's never a dull moment here at the farm. I saw a lovely foal as we came up the drive. You've got the sales going on and lots and lots going on. It's really exciting times ahead for Drakenstein.
No, it is lovely, and I mean, yeah, good to have the foals arriving again. So a nice Duke of Marmalade on the ground there, out of Aquatant, which we're obviously very pleased about. So all rolling ahead.
Well, Ross, you look to have a very smart draft of 7 going to the sale. I know it's a difficult question, but do any of them stand out in particular for you?
Yes, I would have to say, I mean, they're all nice horses, but the Silvano out of Barberton Daisy, Silvano colt, he's a big, strapping, good walking colt. Yeah, he's a half to Lacetti Lorona, who's obviously unbeaten in 2 at the moment, and she's turning out to be looking like a future blue blood hen for us, or a good brood mare on the farm, and so we're very pleased to have that on the draft.
Well, best of luck for the rest of the foaling season and of course the sale. Thank you, Ross.
Thank you very much.
I remember the day he arrived. A powerful, noble creature with a steady gaze. They told me he was the last great son of the king of all stallions, and that his mother carried the blood of royalty. They said he was once the very best racehorse in all of England, Ireland, and France, and that he was the conqueror of giants. They said he was one of the best stallions in the whole of Europe, and the father of many winners. I heard them say he is one of the greatest stallions to ever step foot in Africa. They called him Magnificent. I called him the Duke.
What a Winter is turning out to be as good a stallion as he was a sprinter. John Freeman manages him, and tonight we feature his profile on the show.
What a Winter was a unique racehorse blessed with precocity, speed, and a brilliant temperament. The lightning-fast sprinting son of Western Winter won 15 races, including 4 Grade 1s, the Computerform Sprint, the Cape Flying Championship twice, and the Mercury Sprint. In short, he was a world-class sprinter.
What a Winter is flying down the inside, and What a Winter has won the Computerform Sprint. What a Winter, what a sprinter.
At the end of March this year, Gavin Lerena had a horrific fall at Turffontein Racecourse. It was reported that he had broken his right clavicle and scapula, and he'd be out of action between 6 to 8 weeks. 4 months later, and only now, is Gavin getting a little bit of glimpse of light from that dark tunnel. It is my pleasure to welcome back to the Breeding to Win show this evening our former South African champion jockey, Gavin Lerena. Welcome, Gav.
Thank you very much, Jules. Wonderful to be on the show, Breeding to Win. I think of myself as a stallion, so it's lovely to be on your show.
You certainly know how to produce the progeny, that's for sure. So we can always rate you as a bit of a stallion, but lovely to have you back, Gavin, and lovely to see that things are now starting to take a turn and you're actually starting to heal.
That's it, Jules. It's been a very long, tough road, and expecting to be back, to try push to be back for the Durban season in 8 weeks, and 4 months later we're still battling, but every day is a good day and a positive day, and looking forward to the future.
Okay, well, let's just chat. Firstly, it was a horrible fall. I mean, whoever saw it, I think you went ice cold when you did watch it, and to get out of that with just pretty much a broken shoulder, I think you were very lucky.
Yeah, very lucky, Jules. God and his angels were definitely with me. It was one hell of a fall. What can I say? It goes with the job, but it wasn't nice. It was nasty, but I walked away lightly. 4 broken bones, and it could have been a lot worse.
Well, just take us through how those first couple of weeks were for you and how the last couple of weeks have been for you, because I can imagine how testing it has been for you especially to want to get back into riding and get back in the saddle.
Yeah, Jules, look, obviously the first 4 to 6 weeks I really battled with a concussion. It was just the most horrible feeling, and I've been concussed in the past, but never like this, and almost felt seasick day in, day out, and you'd be sitting at the dinner table or at lunch or playing with the kids, and all of a sudden, you feel very seasick and nauseous. It wasn't nice, but thank goodness we're over that. And then about 2 weeks after the fall, I was complaining of this terrible pain in my left side. Obviously, most of my damage was done on the right, and complaining of pain. And one day I sneezed and I screamed, and my mother wanted to hit me because she doesn't like to see me in pain. And I said, what can I do? I'm in pain. So anyway, I went for more x-rays, and I broke my first rib as well. And that pain was terrible. The other pain I had under control, but very lucky to be here.
So at the time, they found that you had the injury on the right side, but they didn't find the broken rib. Is that correct?
Yeah, and obviously, so you talk to people about breaking your first rib, it's never heard of. It's such a well-protected bone. It covers your lungs, and there's a main artery running through right next to that rib. So I'm very lucky that I didn't puncture my lung or damage the artery. So one hell of a fall, and to get away with so much luck, Jules, I'm really blessed. And then I went another couple of weeks later for just my general x-rays and found another broken bone, which is the second rib on this side, but obviously I had it under control by then.
Sounded like you had it under control. It's amazing that they didn't pick up the broken ribs initially. Were they just so concerned about your shoulder?
Yeah, well, obviously, there's so much swelling and who knows what happens.
Yeah.
So much damage that they never picked it up. Obviously, the second rib, I never really felt the pain because of the trauma around the shoulder area, but this first rib was terrible.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
So now tell us about the therapy, because you pretty much tried everything under the sun to try and get back into the saddle as quickly as possible, as you pointed out, for the KwaZulu-Natal season. So tell us what you put yourself through and to try and heal your body as quickly as possible.
Yeah, Jules, from about 3 weeks into my fall, I started the hyperbaric chamber. I was doing it probably 4 days a week in hour sessions, and obviously I was doing the physio and strength training, and just the bone wasn't healing, and so we've taken other routes now. It's been very aggressive. The last 6-8 weeks I've I've upped the hyperbaric chamber, so I'm going for 2-hour sessions for 3, 4, 5 times a week as often as I can. And I'm doing platelets with Dr. Kathy. Dr. Kathy, she's amazing. So, you know, really, she's been a blessing to me, and big thanks to Kevin for introducing me to her. I really think the platelets are working.
And what do they do with the platelets?
So they take your blood out of you, they spin it, and they use, I got a little clip for you.
Okay.
I'm sure detail will play it. And so they use it almost looks like a watery blood. I can't explain it, Jules. I'm not a doctor. And so they spin it and inject it back into you, and it forms like a clot. So it helps. It's like a
rejuvenate the cells in the body and helps with the healing
and it's
process.
like a building block as well for the bone. So I really think that's helped a lot. And then I had to invest in an Exogen bone healing system. It's an ultrasound machine that I've got to use for 20 minutes every day. So we're doing everything we can. Obviously the physios, my chiropractor is always involved. Yeah, I got a lot of people to thank, and you know, been around. So it's, thank goodness it is healing now.
So tough times are hopefully behind you, and I think some positive news that came out this week was that you actually got back in the saddle and you did some work back at the track.
Yeah, it was fantastic, Jules. Obviously I went to see my doctor for x-rays last week, and I really got a lot of belief in him. Sorry, I just want to talk about Dr. Loubser. You know, I went to see a couple of doctors, and you know, they suggested doing a bone graft on the collarbone because it's not healing. And obviously he's so busy. He's such a great doctor that I only got into him on a couple of days later, and he said definitely not. We're going to give it another couple of weeks, and you get the Exogen machine. It's going to help you and up your hyperbaric and that. So big thanks to Dr. Loubser as well. And so anyway, I went for x-rays last week, and he said, look, I should be off for another 2 months, but he's happy that I start to ride work and ride quieter horses in the morning and get my fitness levels up. So it's been really exciting, like a kid again, getting on at the track, and I'm feeling...
And you couldn't wait?
No.
You were like a kid in a candy store. You had to just get in there.
That's it, Jules. And so I worked 3 horses on my first morning. Probably wasn't the right thing to do.
You know, just pushing yourself a little bit too much.
Yeah, I pulled up very lame the next couple of days. And then on Tuesday I went and worked 2 horses for Mr. Woodruff, and also again still in a bit of pain, but we're going to get there, Jules, and it's just great to be on the horse's back again. I think that's where I belong, and it's, you know, I just got to thank God and all my family for their support, and everyone around me for their support. Looking forward to the future.
May only good things come to you.
Thank you very much, Jules.
Thanks for being on the show once again, and hopefully we'll catch up soon to find out how the successes are going.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Thanks to Gavin Lorena.
As a racehorse, he ran a pair of seconds in his first 2 starts over sprints. He then broke his maiden when he first went over a mile. Straight out the maidens, he managed to reel off a group win over the mile as well. And then obviously a big performance when he ran 3rd in that Group 1, the Derby.
Royal Moe, and here comes Gormley, followed by Iliad and Reach the World in Battle of Midway, trying to stave off the Moss pair. Royal Moe and Gormley battling strongly. Gormley looming into the lead now. Gormley takes the lead, and Gormley wins the Santa Anita Derby.
In an economic climate of ever-increasing attrition, the breeding industry has not escaped unscathed. And it is for this very reason that it is extremely refreshing and indeed inspiring to see a new stud emerge with plenty of horse sense and years of experience. Anton Hook and his wife Lisa run Cornerstone Stud, and it's an amazing operation.
Anton, I guess the business of selling horses is something that's been in your blood for many, many years. Not the easiest thing to get into, selling thoroughbred racehorses, but having been an assistant trainer, you're obviously aware of what people look for, both pedigree-wise and specimen-wise. And let's start with the specimens. First of all, the Potala Palace. You've got some really, really good confirmation that people will really warm to, I think.
Yes, he's a striking colt. I just love his work ethic. He goes for a walk. He loves his going out and showing off to people. I took a chance. I love Patala Palace. I believe a good horse comes to you. You don't go out and look for a horse. They always find you.
Patala Palace going strongly in the closing stages, and here is one stylish performance. Patala Palace draws away to win it by 4 to 5.
Patala Palace is in a galloping mood. Give me the green light. Beacon flare. Patala Palace is looking to lug outwards, but his class will prevail. Patala Palace.
Patala Palace with the advantage. Wagner is down the inside. Patala Palace has come back strong. Patala Palace will win the Joburg Spring Challenge. Comes back for the Yasman.
His sire, Singspiel, was proclaimed a world-leading sire by StallionGuide.com, who note that he was an outstandingly tough racehorse, known the world over for producing racehorses of the highest caliber.
Black Miniloosh. There are only 3 horses that have ever produced Triple Crown winners. This filly looks like she's got plenty of scope. Also a lovely disposition.
Yes, she's a big filly, a huge stride. I think she'll come on quickly. She's doing a lot of growing at this stage. She's going to settle into work very quickly.
Okay, the raising of these horses. The old philosophy says, give me the first 6 years of a child's life and I'll make you a man. Works a bit different in horses, but nothing more important than nutrition and surroundings. Where were these horses born and raised?
These two were not born with me, but they were with me from weanlings. They were raised in Rustenburg, on my farm in Rustenburg, and nutrition is the key to any racehorse. All the horses are in big paddocks. They get fed their stud concentrates 3 times a day. They're ready. They're racehorses. They have to work under pressure and perform under pressure, so I think they're ready.
A lot of vendors go there to test the market. Are you a genuine seller, or do you have any inclination to keep a small part of these horses that have become so close to your heart?
I'm a definite seller, but you know, I'm open to suggestions. I think these are good horses, and if I could be part of their racing career, then I would be.
What's your philosophy with regard to the shoeing of these horses until such time as somebody acquires them?
Yeah, I don't think we need to shoe them until they go into full work. Their feet are tough. They've got good feet, good strong feet. Going under saddle, they can be shod, but not until then. They are hardy and they have strong feet. They are real workhorses. They've got the look, they've got the legs, they've got the soundness, they've got good bone. Both mares are very well bred. Black Miniloosh mare is out of a Kabul mare. She was a top racehorse. She'll produce top runners. The Jetmaster mare, that's the Patala Palace Colt dam. She was a striking horse. She came off the track way too early, and Michael Azzi was instrumental in breeding these 2 foals. He wouldn't have chosen these stallions for these mares if he didn't think they were good enough, or he's going to produce something he's going to keep to race for himself.
Lot number 169 is called Paw Patrol. He's a beautiful Patala Palace Bay colt. It's a family laden in black type. It goes back to Happy Birthday, Morisco, Trademark, Super Brand, Lamborina and Jackson Square. He is indeed a very handsome looking son of Patala Palace, very similar to his great father in many characteristics. He's out of the Jetmaster mare, Bell Coco. Lot number 212 is a bay filly called Stormy Sky. She's by Black Miniloosh out of the Kabul mare Cyclone Barbara. There's plenty of black type in this pedigree, including Pacific Typhoon, Pacific Warrior, Stonehenge, Pacific Dynasty. It is a family that's shown terrific speed, but we do know that Black Miniloosh has also thrown a Triple Crown winner. In fact, one of only 3 in South Africa. His name, Louis the King.
Heversham Park had their inaugural Stallion Day last Sunday. Well, the team visited Heversham to find out how the day went. There was a great turnout at Heversham Park for the inaugural Stallion Day. And after looking at the 2-year-olds that will be sold at the National 2-year-old sale, it was time to have a close look at the stallions. We started off with Wings of Desire, the young man in the stable. His father is the very special Pivotal. He was so special that they built him a flat on the farm and he lived in the bedroom. His personal assigned groom resided in the other part of the flat. As his mature age, the stud fee is still at £40,000. His son, Suyani, stands at €75,000. Value is care. To the new stallions we know of, Wings of Desire at a rating of 122 is the highest rated first season sire in the country. 1 point better than the highly expected Erupt, who arrived in the country recently. He is the only Pivotal in the country to be at stud, and one of only 2 other Pivotals, Harry's Hall, also stood on the farm here with us. He is true class from a classy family. Great Britain, he's the mature boy at the stud. Great Britain belongs to a syndicate, and we thank Grant Maroon for arranging and giving us the opportunity to stand him here in Gauteng. During the past 2 decades, the follow-on generation of the all-time great Northern dancer can be split into 2 very dominant sons, Danzig in the United States and Sadler's Wells in Europe. In the past decade, Danzig again provided 2 great carriers of their genes, the one being Danehill and the other Green Desert. Great Britain is the direct son of Green Desert, the only one of only 2 that stood at stud in our country. He's the granddad of one of our top stallions, Kuwari. Great Britain has produced group winners here in our country, and we hope to have the privilege to give him his first Group 1 winner. He is the full brother of the great Cape Cross, producer of no less than 10 Group 1 winners, 51 group winners, and 83 black type winners. And last but not least, Mufid. This stallion was the first stallion to arrive in the modern Heversham breeding clan. In this case, we thank Mike de Kock, who convinced the Sheikh that he could come and do his stud duties with us. He is by Duke of Marmalade. He is a great son on Danehill. Well, let's put it this way. The Ruperts bought and imported him. I don't think that family will invest in a slouch. Now, the Duke is more famous as a distance producer, but Mufid was an all-and-out sprinter, and that's what we South Africans like. He was a Grade 3 winner, and Heversham have done their own calculus motto for him. Duke of Marmalade times speed equals Mufid.
So we were extremely humbled that everybody could make the time and give up their busy schedules to come out here. It's fantastic.
I think the weather played ball except for the wind.
Yeah, the wind was terrible, but I think the huge thing is that there is huge interest in horse racing in Gauteng, and this proves it, and we just need to expand on it.
I thought your 2-year-olds that are coming up for the sale looked absolutely beautiful.
Julie, thank you very much. We put a lot of work into them. They've got great pedigrees. There's 2 imported horses from Ireland, which were foaled over in Ireland at our operation there and then brought here. So we're hoping for some good prices, yes.
And then, of course, your 3 stallions, of course, Great Britain. He's already proven himself, but he really made his mark here this afternoon.
He did. He's proved to be incredibly popular, much more popular than I thought he was going to be. But yes, everybody seems to love the horse, and the other horse is also well received, and we hope they do well.
I'm sure they will, and looking at the support you've got here today, I think this day can only grow.
Well, we'll see you all next year, and hopefully we double up.
I have to ask you about the teaser, because I thought he was possibly the show.
Peter Pan, yes.
Well, lovely. And what made you bring him on as the teaser?
He was actually given to us by Summerhill, and yeah, he does a great job, and I'm sure he's very frustrated most of the year, in fact all of the year.
Does he ever get his chance?
No, sure he doesn't.
Come on, Nigel.
We need somebody to give him a Welsh pony mare, and then we can sort him out.
Well, lovely to be here, and thank you so much for the invite.
Julie, thank you so much for coming, and to everybody else. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, Julie, when we started looking at putting a Highveld breeders together, we hardly got a handful of people that came. So we were really worried. But we thought we got to tackle it. We did a lot of marketing, as you know, as you're very well aware of and what have you. And we tackled the day. And we sort of said it's going to work. It's probably the first stallion day in the Gauteng area for about 20, 25 years, I would imagine. And it was a big risk, but I think we did things right, and we had a wonderful turnout. Wonderful people, wonderful turnout, wonderful conversations, and we've already probably signed about 9, 10, I think it's 11 services to our stallions in this day of today, which I think is wonderful. I think is most exciting, and it helps us in our next year's planning, because once this season is finished, we've just come back a little while ago from America. We've taken up or made offers on 2 more stallions. We'll hear if they're going to accept our offer. And next year we'll have a bigger day than today. And we can't wish for any better that we had. Thank you so much.
It's only been a pleasure, and lots of good feedback about the yearlings or the 2-year-olds that were on show as well this afternoon.
I was very surprised about it. You know, you actually watch the people, and they watch the horses, and they don't really, and then all of a sudden they tackle the catalogues, which means all of a sudden there's something that clicks. And that's nice, because I think we've got some stunning horses, yeah, really. So it's our own horses, I've got to say that, and it looks like you're promoting your own, but they do look good.
Nice yearlings and nice stallions.
Very nice. I thought the 3 stallions were well represented.
Yeah, I'm very much a Mufid fan. You know, he's out of a good bloodline. He's well bred. I must confess, I think he's a bargain.
Now, tell us, are you getting into the breeding side as well? I know you're very good in the breeding with your own progeny, but the horse side?
No, Jules, no. I've got enough pain with the wife and the children. But I'll tell you what, I think they must look at the yearlings. There's a couple of nice yearlings, nice Quarari colt, soft falling rain colt. A couple of nice yearlings.
I thought they were very well turned out, especially coming up for the sales in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think Nigel has done a great job, and I'll definitely be looking at 1 or 2 of them.
That's a wrap for this week's edition of Breeding to Win. Don't forget to join us same time, same place next week for more Breeding to Win action. From myself, Julie Alexander, and the rest of the Breeding to Win team, good night.